And now we go for the first roll of the night. Everybody
Uh-oh.
roll grit.
Ooh. Rolls? There are no
Roll for
rolls in this
the night.
game.
I'm
Not in
definitely just
front of
Died
asking
this.
reroll
this for the
here.
efficacy of those who are
Of
new to the
course.
system and not myself.
No, this is
Of
just for the
course.
audience.
Yeah,
For the
just for the
audience who
audience.
don't know how to roll with a Monster Care Squad, we play with the 2d6s, and you
Yeah.
add
Mhm.
your pluses or minuses in there on your character sheet.
Oh.
So 2d6s.
Naturally. Yeah. Of course. Thank you. Like our audience needed to know. Yeah, for
Of
sure.
course, of course.
Well, it's been nice
I g-
playing with y'all. This was a great experience. Uh, I appreciate y'all having me here for this short time. Gregory gets a 2
Awesome.
because I rolled 2 ones.
Awesome.
Oh.
Um, and the other three?
I got 2 6s, but I have a -1, so it's an 11.
Awesome.
You beat me. I got a 10.
Awesome.
I
And
got a 9.
awesome. Um, the three of you, uh, you start feeling like there's something behind your eyes. And it's like pressure building, and somehow you're able to. You start hearing the screams again, but this time it's not painful, as it was earlier. You can hear it, and you know it's happening in your head, and you can see everybody else around you, whoever is awake at that time, doesn't seem to have that same feeling. But you, Gregory, the screams debilitate you. You feel like whoever is screaming, million people are screaming in your ears, both sides, and you feel like your whole body is being grabbed,
Yeah.
and you're basically unable to move, while the three of you are seems to be perfectly fine though. I mean, you know that you're hearing those screams, but Gregory.
Yeah, I think I'm like mid rant about how everything has an order, and this is not the first time we've been called in the middle of the night. So everybody knows I make something so that we're all fed and we're all on our top game, so that But there's someone always has to, and just stops there and drops to his knees, and is just silent screaming as he's holding his head.
Gregory?
I think like Fenn's kind of been smiling, listening to Gregory rant. It's nice, nice to have something familiar and normal. And then when he drops, I think like hearing the psychic scream staggers them a little bit. And then just seeing that Gregory drop down, they immediately kind of also go to their knees, wince a little bit, trying to move with the pressure of the screams building up, but then like hands on shoulders and looking at him and says, hey, you with me here? Hey, focus up.
Gregory,
Hey,
you don't
it's gonna
hear
be
them.
okay.
You don't
Yeah,
hear
I
them. You don't feel them. It's the screams are
yeah.
all you
I,
know.
I assume I'm just in like a kind of just a comatose state where that is just overwhelmed every sense.
Um, I am going to like take put like put my hand on his chin and move his face so that his eyes are locked with mine. I'm going to use one of my specialties, which is Fenn's eyes can captivate anyone for a moment or two,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try and parlay that into snapping him back to reality a little bit.
Okay.
I think it's just like compose myself, and then I don't know what this looks like visually. I think they've got like, if it was like animation, there would just be kind of a swirling effect on their eyes slightly, or like an aurora kind of effect on their eyes and a little sparkle as I look deeply into Gregory's eyes.
Gregory, can you roll grit for me again?
Sure. It won't be that
Roll better
bad
this time,
again.
bees.
Oh, okay. We got an 8.
Awesome.
Hey.
I was gonna give you an advantage just because of Fenn's specialty, but you don't need it. You were able to Fenn's eyes, with Fenn's magic eyes or whatever, snaps you out of it. The screamings are still there, and but it's not as overwhelming now. You all still hear the screaming, but it's more of like background noise than it was for Gregory, where it was overwhelming. But the screaming isn't stopping.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You back with us?
I think the moment it like hits him and he snaps out of it, I think that's when the sound comes. So unfortunately, there's just a very loud, like 2 second scream in your face, and then he's like, ah, ah, ah,
Oh, hey,
ah.
Kirk, you
What?
okay? We lost you for like a few seconds.
Oh, you guys, you didn't hear that?
What, the screams?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just now. All of
No,
you?
they're constant.
Yeah, they're still.
It's
Oh
still
God.
constant. It's there.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow. That my body did not like that at all. Um, I don't even remember what I was saying up until then. But is
Oh, it
everybody else
wasn't
okay?
important.
From now until the end of the episode, you're all gonna hear that scream in the background. That
Cool.
million screams. Just something to keep in mind.
Yay.
Mm,
At the end of the episode, maybe. We'll see if it gets resolved. Um you reach the library. It's a big library. It's a library that, most of you have spent at least years. Carme, how long have you been in the school?
I think we said months.
Would you
Yeah,
say 3 months, 2 months?
like about a quarter of a year, maybe
Awesome.
quarter third. Yeah.
Awesome. So, uh, this is such a big library. It's it used to be just a library, Lots of people would go in, check out books, it's a great library, but now it's become so much bigger than that just because of the attack that had happened. It had grown into a huge school with a lot of things attached to it. And as monsters do, they also started adding their little things on top of this building. So there's a observatory like in Megamind. There's an observatory, and then there's like a hot air balloon, just sort of like attached to it, and it's basically like a mishmash of jigsaw building. Uh, and I give you freedom to add whatever it is you want to add on top of it. But this is basically the library now, and this is your school, and you enter it. The hustle there's a lot of bustle in it. There's a lot of people always moving around. You're not the only team here, but there are other teams that are preparing, studying, researching to heal whatever monster um that they're assigned to that week, that month, forever how long. They don't seem to be hearing the scream. What do you do?
Head to 534.
All right, everybody heads to 534.
oh yeah. I'm assuming that for the most part I'm just kind of led by Finn. Because I am still not 100% okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was an experience.
So, you head to 534. The three of you, Lynn, Kay, Gregory, and Ben. You know the man that is sitting down on the chair waiting for you. Carme, this is the first time you've ever seen this man. Never seen this man before in your life. But for the three of you, this is Sir Sir Auro. He is a middle-aged man wearing a three-piece suit, short hair, nice little, beard going on. And he looks at all of you and he goes, I'm assuming you're all hearing the screams as well.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please
How are you
don't
this evening?
stop.
It's obviously something to do with a monster. What I don't understand is why we're all hearing it. And then he looks at the four of you and says, "Where's Elise?" And Gregory, there is a fifth bag because your teammate Elise is always here.
Yeah, he just lifts the bag up because he just doesn't feel like talking right now. He's still got kind of one eye closed, wincing from the residual pain, and like pops a stick of gum in his mouth, hoping it helps, and just like has shows him the bag, looks at it, and just kind of shrugs.
Well, wherever she is, we'll keep her. We'll inform her later. But for now, something seriously bad is happening. And I think somehow we're connected to it. And he does turns on a TV. And on the TV, you see the city of Interismal. And Interismal is this beautiful city, but it's well known for a giant labyrinth it's a mix of a tourist trap and a religious site because so many people love to visit it for the labyrinth, and there's like labyrinth keychains and tours of the labyrinth, but it's also such an old labyrinth that it's been there for centuries, even when there was still at war between the monsters and the humans. And you also know that it started out small, but people keep building on it and more, that it is believed that only 20% of the actual labyrinth has been seen uh you know by the people there, unless you're the builders. Nobody's even seen the builders now. Some people build on their own, like people who live there. They grow up there and they're trained to build the labyrinth. But yeah, that is what you know of Interismal. Scrolling down, like on the news, it you can see the words millions of screams cause villagers unable sleepless nights. And Sir Auro turns to you. Looks like we have a whole city experiencing what we're experiencing now. What I don't understand is why we're experiencing it.
Well, if you had all the answers, you would have fixed it yourself then, wouldn't you have? That's what we're here for.
Yes, you're correct. This is technically your first assignment. I'm loath to send you away with Elise not here, but I don't even know where she is right now. Has she responded to any of you recently?
No.
Understood. Well, you have about an hour or two to prepare. And then James will take it to the airport. He will meet you in front of the entrance to the library, and you will fly to Interismal. Research as much as you can.
Which James are we meeting? Is it James? Is it Jimmy or JJ? Because I don't know if I can handle JJ right now.
It's James.
Like James, not Jimmy, right? I mean,
Sir
I'm
Auro
hoping for Jimmy, but James is
Sir
fine.
Auro looks at you and goes, James remains the same.
Oh, do you not know JJ?
No.
That's probably for the best.
Perfect.
Okay. They're all called James. It's fine. But
I I had a quick
thank you,
question.
sir.
You're
I had a
welcome.
question. Have there been any recorded instances of like paralysis or comatose like behavior from these screams?
I'm not sure. All I know is what we've seen on the news report. And what we see on the news report is there are millions of screams in their ear, and they are unable to sleep.
Mm. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. No, that's fine. Okay.
Are you
Great.
okay?
Yeah. 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 I just it. It's no. It's fine. It's fine. I just yeah. We'll take care of this.
Good. You're dismissed. And he does just turn his chair and starts reading a book, paying no more attention to you.
I think I'll walk up behind him and just take since she never showed up, I'll just take Elise's sandwich and put it on the desk next to him and just walk off because I don't want any food to go to waste. So
He nods at you, but doesn't say anything.
yeah, I'll just start heading back to my room.
You have 2 hours to prepare, research. You have a library. And you can make rolls, research. We'll see before it's time to go.
I would like to well, first I'm gonna go back to my room, drink water, and take a few minutes to myself, and then I want to go to the I want to research any kind of known uh any known creatures with psychic abilities.
You know that there are millions of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
It
gonna
doesn't really it doesn't really narrow your search because there's the swarm of volus, which is the local monster in the city, where they
mhm,
speak to you and to each other by just moving their bodies, because they're like microscopic creatures, and they speak by forming letters, and
mhm.
that is in a way psychic communication with each other. Though they don't practice a psychic communication to you, they just speak to you by turning into letters. So there's plenty of monsters that do that.
Yeah. I guess I'd try and I'd see that and just be like, "Oh god, so many results." And then I try and focus on seeing if there's ever been a recorded instance of this or something similar to this, but maybe on a bigger scale, smaller scale, just anything that seems somewhat similar to this situation going on.
Okay, go ahead and roll acuity for me.
Yeah. Acuity. Oh, your boy's got a positive in that. Ooh. Oh, snapdragons. We got a 12 total.
Awesome.
Nice.
And that is a wonderful success. As you're turning the pages around, you're looking around at stuff. You find yourself on this guidebook, an old guidebook for Interismal,
Mhm.
and it tells you the story of a monster in the middle or in the center of the labyrinth, and how it protects the whole universe, a new baby universe, and it fights its attackers without touching them. And that's all you read.
Okay. Um, and it doesn't give any kind of like, does it give any kind of description of the creature? Maybe
Only that it lives in the center.
yeah. It doesn't describe anything about the attacks, how it defends itself or anything. It just a very vague, it defends itself by not. Okay.
It lives in the center, and it protects a baby universe, and
Hmm.
it fights without touching you.
Okay. Um, like I'll give space for everybody else, but I think I'll just keep trying to go down that rabbit hole for the time being.
Awesome. The others?
I have an idea, I think.
Okay.
Carme is going to do what she immediately always does when presented by a problem and go to the nearest shelf that she thinks will help in the library.
And what is the contents of that shelf?
I think she's going to look for books specifically about the history of Interest Mall, like the city, the landscape, any like it's not schematics, but maps and topography for it to like get kind of a layout. See if it has elevation, like what sort of the vibe.
Go ahead and roll acuity for me.
Okay. 2d6 da. And she's good at acuity. It's one of her things she does. So that's a 9.
Awesome. You find a lot of information about Interismal. You know about the giant's table. It talks about the giant's table, this giant uh chamber, which looks like what a giant dining room would be, and
Mm.
it, you know, and basically the table is filled with magically preserved food that, like, if you it's huge. It's a big plate. The cutleries are the size of buildings. It's a big table, and you've read about that. But most of the things you find out are about the labyrinth, and how they worship the maker of the labyrinth. And the maker of the labyrinth lives in the center of the labyrinth.
Got it. Okay. She's going to take that book with her. Like, she doesn't stop and read it. She just like pulls it out of the shelf and is like flipping through it while she's walking down the corridor. Question. Does
Go ahead.
this place have a garage by any chance?
The library?
The like facility that we're currently in.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
describe what the garage looks like.
Okay, can I? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think the garage, like if you look at the bones of it, it looks very much like an old stable. Like you can see the size of each bay where like horses or other creatures would have been kept. Many of them have now sort of like had the walls between them broken down 2 by 2 so that like the stable has become a proper storage bay. And like it's that nice mix of old world like stone crafting and like woodwork interspersed with new metals, like nice gleaning like bay doors and everything. And I think she goes down to the second bay door from the end and just kind of plunks in a little code, and then it just releases up, and it looks like the bottom half of a chicken has been mechanized and blown up to about like several times at sight. Like a couple people could comfortably like sit. It's like, so there's a seat and then there's two sort of like jump seats on either of the legs, and it looks not finished remotely. It looks like there's a lot more, and she just kind of like walks in immediately, heads over to a workbench and just begins pulling out different parts of an equipment, ceramic tools from an old work box, and begins just quickly working on it and then patting it and murmuring to herself things like, all right, it's going to be showtime. We're not ready for this. We're not ready for this, but we need to be ready for this. Okay. And that is going to break the calibration. Okay, I need oil. And it's just like going around, book still in left hand, but like also like working on this as well.
And the other two?
I think when Fenn was kind of like checking memory for anything they knew about this place, it's like, oh, it's famously got a big labyrinth in the center. And then immediately was going to launch into a bit of like, well, okay, if it's a labyrinth, then is it a labyrinth or is it a maze? The difference is that a labyrinth only has one path through. It's supposed to be meditative. You just walk through it. Whereas a maze you can actually get lost in. And instead of exhausting anybody with that bit of pedantry, I think they just like, I think they go open. We've got like computers, right? Yeah, we have phones.
Yeah.
We have computers. They like just hop over to a bank of computers that are all like they're at like chest height with stools instead of like the ones that you sit down in. And they just kind of like use their boot to nudge the chair out of the way, log into the computer, and what's the name of the city again?
Interismal.
That we're going to?
Okay. Interismal. I can put that in the chat here.
I just need to know how it's pronounced, not necessarily how it's spelled.
It's fine. I put it in the Twitch chat so that our audience can also participate.
Hell yeah. But they just pull open a search engine and put in Interismal labyrinth maze and see what comes up. I presume it's like, and then just like starts going down a Wikipedia rabbit hole and reading forums of like people discussing with the goal of finding out how to navigate the damn thing.
There's a lot of stuff that pops out, but the one that pops out is this website that boasts about the best way to get around the labyrinth, and it's basically like an ad for the stables. And it's not there's no other special name for it. They just call it the stables. It's not like, oh, the go whatever. It's just the stables, as if they're so proud of their stables that there's no other stables that can compare to it. We are the stables. And on that, they basically tell you that we have the best mounts in all the land, and if you want to go into the labyrinth, we have competitive prices that you can use to rent our best mounts. We have goats, we have cows, we have horses if you want to be traditional. But they have like different kinds of animals. Normally like just cattle's, like farm animals. There's even one that they're saying is a giant chicken, but you don't know if it's actually a giant chicken or they're just like confusing themselves with an ostrich. But yes, so there's like plenty of mounts, and they're telling you like this is the best way to navigate through the labyrinth. That's the most common thing you see.
So that's traversal. I'm looking more for like, I pull open their like live chat feature customer service window, and I put in do the are the animal mounts self-guided?
about 5 seconds before a reply comes in and goes, and you read it and it says, all of our customer service people are currently not available at the moment. It is 12 a.m. They'll be back at 8 a.m.